Welcome back to Cravings with Adventures. I am Ahmed, and when it comes to my family and my extended family, I always gravitate towards the traditional recipes. These we all have known and loved for generations. Now today we're making a Goan KHEEMA. What this means, it's a Goan style ground meat dish. KHEEMA is a Hindi word for ground meat. It can typically refer to beef, lamb, or even chicken. This recipe is by the very talented blogger Xanti Pinto. She runs her blog called xantilicious.com. You should really check them out. She has lots of incredible recipes and many of them are Goan and they are authentic recipes. I came across this recipe on the group that I'm a part of called Traditional Goan Foodies. I've talked about this group before. It's a group of incredible members that share their authentic recipes, and the idea is to keep authentic Goan recipes alive. Xanti is part of our group and she contributes greatly to some of these recipes. I tried this recipe many times and I've tweaked it ever so slightly to call it my own. We're going to start by making a spice blend. Now this is the base of a great Goan curry. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some dry ingredients into my food processor, and then I'm going to follow that with some wet ingredients. The first thing that is going to go in are 4 Kashmiri chilies. Now Goans use Kashmiri chilies a lot in their cooking. The reason for this is Kashmiri chilies have a beautiful red color, but they're not very spicy. Now, if you cannot find Kashmiri chilies, I actually took these Kashmiri chilies and I ground them down and counted how many teaspoons they yield. They yield about 6 teaspoons. So you can substitute chili powder instead. But I want to caution you, chili powder is very different from Kashmiri chili powder. So if you're going to use a regular chili powder, I would use much less, at least half of that, and then add more later. Kashmiri chilies don't pack a lot of heat. Even if you're using Kashmiri chili powder, I would still use a little bit less and then add more later if you want to increase the spice level. Next, I'm going to add in half a teaspoon of cumin seeds, followed by 2 teaspoons of coriander seeds. I'm also going to add 4 cardamoms, 6 cloves, and a 1-inch stick of cinnamon. I'm also going to follow that with 1 teaspoon of peppercorns. Now I'm just going to grind all of this together, and you can see through the grinding process, if it's not really fine, you can just grind it again till you have a nice powder. Next, we're going to add all of the wet ingredients. The first thing that's going to go in are 6 cloves of garlic, followed by a 1-inch piece of ginger. I've just cut this so that it's easier for my food processor to process it. I'm also going to add 2 green chilies. As you can see, I've used rather large green chilies. You can use smaller green chilies if you prefer. I'm also going to add vinegar. Now I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of vinegar. I'm using Goa Vinegar because I was able to get some, as my dad brought me some when he came from Goa. If you can't find Goa Vinegar, it is not easy to find. You can substitute Red Wine Vinegar instead. It works really well. Finish off with 1 teaspoon of turmeric. I'm going to grind all of this together. I'm going to scrape everything off in between and I'm going to grind it again. As you can see, I have a beautiful spice blend. I'm going to take all of my spice blend out and put it in a bowl, and I'm going to try and scrape as much as I can from underneath the blades. I'm going to add 1 cup of water into my food processor. The reason for this is I don't want to lose any of that fantastic spice blend. I'm going to put this into my KHEEMA mixture later. I've got 1 pound of ground beef here, but you can substitute this for lamb or even mutton. I'm going to scrape my masala blend right over this and I'm going to work it together with my fingers. Now I love to take this and leave it in my fridge overnight, but if you don't have that much time, at least let it marinate for an hour. In my saute pan, I'm going to add some oil and I'm going to heat that up, and I'm going to add 4 cups of red onions. I've just finely chopped these red onions and I'm going to cook this till it's nice and translucent. I'm going to follow this with my meat mixture and I'm just going to cook this down, breaking all of the lumps. Next, I'm going to add 2 cups of diced tomatoes. I've cut this up really fine, and I'm going to mix everything together. Make sure to add salt to taste at this point, and I'm going to add the water that I added to that food processor earlier. I'm going to add this in. I'm going to also add 1 cup of cooked peas. I'm going to cover this and leave it to cook. I'm going to lift my lid frequently, and I'm going to continue to break up the ground mixture. And I'm also going to squish the tomatoes with the back of my spoon. Now, some of those peas will get squished too. That's just collateral damage, and it just adds to the flavor. I'm going to continue to cook this for another 10 to 15 minutes till I know my ground beef mixture is well cooked and everything holds together really well. I like to use peas in my keema. I know Xanti loves to use green pepper. You can go ahead and use green pepper if you like. You can even use cubed potato. That tastes really good too. If you need to add more salt, go ahead and add it at this point, but your Goan style keema is pretty much ready to go. This is such a delicious recipe. Make sure to click on Xanti's link. I'm going to leave a link in the description, so make sure to check out her blog. Thank you so much, Xanti, for your recipe. This is now one of my family's favorite Goan keemas to eat. And if you want to try some of my other recipes, I have 2 more recipes from members of Traditional Goan Foodies. I have David D'Souza's mutton charcuterie, as well as Mafra D'Souza's prawn with bhimli and bhindis. Those 2 recipes are incredible. Make sure to check them out. Thank you so much for joining me on Cravings Food Adventures. If you love my Goan recipes and so many other recipes that I put up each week, make sure that you're subscribed. I upload new videos every week, so make sure that you're there so you're the first to see it. And also follow me on Instagram, Pinterest. Make sure to check out my Facebook page. Until I see you next time, do take care.